The Judicial Service Commission has recommended that the Western Cape Judge President, John Hlophe, be impeached. Now, the recommendation goes before Parliament, which will make the final determination on Judge John Hlophe's future. For more on this, we're joined by Judges Matter researcher, that's the organization, and Mbekezeli Benjamin speaks for this organization from Cape Town. He joins us. Mr. Benjamin, thanks for your time. This is the first time in post-apartheid South Africa that a judge is referred to Parliament for possible impeachment. Talk to us about the impact that this is going to have on the judiciary, or is that too much of a stretch, given that this has been a matter dating back to 2008 facing John Hlophe?
Good morning, Xoli, and good morning to the newsroom viewers. It is a historic moment. We've never been at this stage before in our constitutional democracy. And you're quite right to point out that this has taken far too long. It shouldn't have taken the time that it did. We were hoping that this complaint could be resolved sooner rather than later, but we are where we are now. What it means for the judiciary, I think, is that, well, judges can be held accountable. That's the first message that this sends out, is that judges are often criticized for having too much power and not accounting for that power. And now it looks like we have finally reached a stage where the systems and processes to hold judges accountable are finally coming to life, and they are acting as they should.
Yeah.
We do hope, though, going forward, that they will act much quicker.
The JSC, that's the structure, that's the judicial structure that has now, that has the task, or in fact, that has recommended this be taken to Parliament. They have also done what is now seen as recommending that those who participated in the Judicial Conduct Tribunal, that's the tribunal which found that Hlophe had committed this act. They are saying that they're going to recommend to President Cyril Ramaphosa that Judge Hlophe be suspended pending the outcome of the parliamentary inquiry. Is that something that should even be asked, or again, do we need to stick to process here?
And I think it's a question of fairness, because Judge Hlophe is a senior judge in the judiciary, and he has lots of responsibilities running the Western Cape High Court. And so to suspend him immediately might be a little bit disruptive to the operations of the court. And so giving him an opportunity to explain why he should be placed on suspension or not is really fair, and it's not really something that should cause a lot of concern. And what we do hope will happen is that in the next week, Judge Hlophe will submit his statement on why he should not be suspended, and the JSC should take the decision in a matter of days. And so we should have clarity very early next month whether or not Judge Hlophe should be suspended.
Sure.
But it's important to emphasize that despite this process of suspension, the parliamentary process still goes ahead uninterrupted.
And that's the question I want to come to next, because this matter now effectively goes into the political realm, and there is no telling what could happen in Parliament. The ANC, some have argued for the longest time that it's too factionalized in that Parliament. You have the opposition that does not make too much of the numbers to muscle out the ANC on matters that they feel strongly about. What do you anticipate could be the outcome from that parliamentary process?
Well, it's difficult to predict the outcome, but what we do hope will happen is that members of parliament, when they are doing this job, when they're considering whether to remove a judge from office, they're acting as public representatives. They do not represent the political parties which elected them. They stand as public representatives, and what the Constitution requires of them is that they must read the decision of the tribunal, they must see the JSC's recommendation, and they must search within themselves whether or not this is conduct that is expected of a judge, and they should take a vote on that. And so it really shouldn't be a party.
I'm sorry to cut in there, Mr. Benjamin, because it's difficult not to laugh, because not so long ago, it was the Speaker of the National Assembly, Thandi Modise, who now sits in a completely different environment as minister, who admitted before the Deputy Chief Justice Zondo that Parliament has simply been not doing what is expected of it. And most of the time it's because parliamentarians are clueless at times about what their job entails. So, can we even trust this process to begin with? Or trust in the process?
This is an opportunity. Oh, sorry. I think this is an opportunity for Parliament to redeem itself. MPs need to show all of us that the salaries that we pay them every month are going to good use. They should be showing us that they're acting in all our collective interest, regardless of our different colors and creeds in terms of political persuasions, but they should act in the best interests of the country, and they should look beyond the narrow party or factional interests. It is quite sad. Well, it is sad that we now expect that our MPs will sort of always toe the party line and act in the interests of the party above the interests of all of us as ordinary South Africans. That is sad, but I think this is an opportunity for them to show that they take their job seriously.
Finally, Bob Benjamin, I want to ask about Judge John Hlophe himself. I mean, this is obviously his decision. If he is impeached, the understanding is that he loses all his privileges. That probably will include what? His retirement. I'm not sure, you'll clarify that for me. What does he do, or would he allow himself to get to a position where he is impeached if the privileges that he ought to enjoy as a retired judge are going to be lost? Or might we see a completely different outcome where he resigns in order to protect those privileges?
Well, Xoli, a judge is appointed for life. They retain the status of a judge for their life. So beyond just simply the trappings, the privileges, the bells and whistles, there's also the question of the status of a judge, which we hold in very high esteem. And so even if he were to resign today, the contributions that he's made to his pension, I think that he can still collect them up to so far. Mm-hmm. But going forward, he is not entitled to receive any more of the salary that he would have received for the rest of his life. Medical benefits, housing benefits, car allowances, all of those will be stripped if Parliament decides to remove him from office. So those are the consequences, unfortunately, of misconduct, and it is rather sad on him as a person, and I do feel sad for him. But it is one of the consequences that we always want to see in all of people who hold public office, that they will act according to their oath of office, and if they fail to do so, then there should be consequences, and these are just some of the consequences that come to judges.
Mbekezeli Benjamin speaks for the organization Judges Matter. Thank you very much for your time.